You are listening to a We the Nerdy podcast.
Let's face it, as Nintendo fans, we are often left slightly disappointed and scratching our heads asking why. Where is our Super Mario Galaxy 3? Why isn't Metroid out yet? Bring back the Ice Climber, seriously, and what were you thinking with the Virtual Boy? Well, sit back as Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls do just that. That's right, this is If We Ran Nintendo. Now, cue the music, maestro.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of If We Ran Nintendo. This is a little bit of a special edition, as you can see already. Sean and I are hanging out in New York City. We're going to head over to the Nintendo World Store very soon. I'll get some footage and stuff like that to show you guys and all that stuff as well. Because I think we're going to record, I want to record some there too.
It's a special episode.
It's a special episode.
We don't even know what's going to happen.
We're just going to walk around the streets and do some crazy stuff. We're sitting literally in front of Sean's hotel in some little park, like little
there's a
seating area.
Little cafe,
yeah, there's a four-table
area.
cafe. Sean just literally checked out of his hotel room a few minutes ago. I got here, maybe 20
minutes ago?
Yeah. Took the train in. My voice is good.
It's good.
I'm good. I'm back.
You sound good. You
look
good.
I feel good.
I'm like, this is the Nintendo Guru.
This is
I'm in front of the Nintendo Guru. I'm like, I'm at Penn Station, and everybody's going about their business. They're going about their day, and I'm like, I just want to stop you for a second. I'm about to meet the Nintendo Guru in real life. And they're like,
who the hell's that guy?
No
that guy,
way.
They're like, that guy's an idiot.
Can I come?
That guy's
like,
a loser.
Maybe later.
David Moore is here.
I know.
We haven't seen him yet. He's somewhere here. What's up, Dave? We'll see you soon, Dave. But we're going to head over to the Nintendo World Store. Nintendo New York now it's called. It's just kind of cool. What we're going to do is if you're watching this now, so you know, we're going to just record this stuff now. Get some footage together, get some different things together, and then we'll do a regular podcast. We'll do one topic in a little bit, but it'll be our normal setup, like you see us in the computer and all that. We thought we'd do something a little different. This
is the best, man. Like, how can we not do this?
Yeah, you have to.
I'm going to walk down the streets in New York playing my 3DS. You can tell me where to go. You're the New Yorker. You can be like, all right,
I'm not
Sean.
the New Yorker. I'm the New Jersey.
All right. Well, it's all the same to Canadians.
It's different. It's different. That's like me saying you're part of Russia or you're part of Alaska.
Well, can I tell you something right now?
Go ahead.
I'm geeking out about this right now.
Are you really?
I am geeking out big time about this. There's no shout outs at this moment. I'm geeking out.
Yeah, we're not going to have any shout outs at the moment. We'll we're going to do what we got to do.
Did we street pass yet?
I think we already street passed.
Oh my god. Do you have the racing game?
Yes.
I'm going to do the racing game.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat your ass. Oh, someone's here. Who's that? Who could that be? Somebody's here. It's probably Bobby. It's probably the Nintendo Guru.
So,
is that all?
That's all for now. We'll be back. We're going to run over and do some stuff.
Games.
He can play games while he's going to fall in a manhole playing
like
video
10,
games.
man. Are you kidding me? This person's from Ireland.
There you go. There you go.
What's up?
So, we'll be back in a minute. So, here we are.
Oh, it's a flip, Bobby.
Huh?
I don't know.
It'll be all right. It'll be fine.
It's all right.
Listen. The thing of it is this is the place we run. So we need to... we made it here. It took a little bit to get here. A lot of construction detours on the walking and stuff. But whatever, we're here. The walking was rough. So we're going to go check it out. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to film some stuff inside, and I'll kind of put a little montage here. A little different than on the video side. The audio side, you're not going to hear that, because I don't think you want to hear music. All right, it's loud as hell. There's showing all over the place. And I got interrupted by a phone call at work. So, so we're going to go in, do a little shopping, see what we can find.
Christmas shopping.
For me.
Like a whole holiday section.
For me. I don't care about nobody else.
Just stop.
No, you stop. All right, we'll talk to you in a minute. wrapping up.
I bought so much stuff, Bobby.
Yeah,
it's bad. Look at this thing is bigger than you are.
Yeah, she only got some stuff in here.
Yeah. We want. Okay, so we just took a picture.
Yeah, took a picture randomly on the street. Security told us to do it, so we did it. We didn't want to get arrested. In America, you get beat up for that stuff. You don't do it. Okay. You don't do what the cops tell you. You get beat up.
Bobby, look at this. This is for little Link. This is for little Lincoln.
Yeah.
Or Sully. Little
Lincoln.
Baby blanket.
Lincoln.
We'll see if it's Lincoln.
It's Lincoln. Don't listen to these guys. So, at this point, we're probably going to kick you back to the show, where we're going to actually do our actual show portion. We'll do a topic, I guess. This is just consider this all the BS that we typically
Nintendo,
do.
what would we do with that store?
We would make more of them. We'd make more of them.
Oh, okay.
I'd make more of them. That'd be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is I'd probably have more games.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of games, but I think that's because they don't have a lot right now.
Yeah. I want more exclusive stuff. Honestly, I was just picking up whatever said New York.
You know what I would do too is sizes would be bigger. Everything's so small,
very
man.
Small.
Even women's stuff is super small. When you look at it, you go, that doesn't look like it's going to fit anybody.
It's very strange. I just don't even know how to make it. It makes me just not know how to make a decision.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I don't like that feeling at all.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
All.
That's it for now.
All right.
We're gonna say that's it for now.
Oh, okay.
And we will wrap the show up in a few minutes. You'll see us in a minute, like now. So, okay, so we're back in our houses. We met. Obviously, you guys saw.
That was quick.
And stuff. Yeah, it was like a quick little transition.
I was just in New York a second ago.
Exactly.
Somebody transported me back to snowing here.
So,
my luggage came with me though, Bobby.
Yeah, man. That's
Look
a
at
nice
that.
mug. I didn't realize you got that one. I thought you were going to get Luigi or Peach or something.
And, I thought about it, but I have to get this one first.
Yeah.
You can't start with Luigi. It's almost like a console release. You don't launch a console with a Luigi game.
Yeah, I guess.
You see.
I guess. What's your takeaways of New York?
Well, my takeaways from you is you are a sweetheart. It was amazing. It was amazing to meet you. New York was a special day. I had great meetings the day before, and it was a quick trip. I've never been to New York just for 3 days. I basically landed, spent 3 hours in traffic, slept, got up for meetings, slept again, and then met up with you. And it was like surreal because this is our relationship. This is like it's behind the veil. Is like we have distance between us. It's this, we talk at a screen for a couple hours every week, but ultimately we talk to each other more often than I talk to my parents, than any of my close friends here. I will be a best man in May. I talk to you way more than I talk to him.
Yeah.
So like it was really only for like a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna meet somebody I've never met before, but I'm like, I don't feel that. Like I don't feel that at all. Yeah. So it was special, man. Like it was kind of like I felt like we needed to do something like big and crazy, but ultimately we just kind of hung out, and that was the best.
That was awesome.
We just kind of like walked around New York, which is my favorite thing to do. It's a city that's very just browsable. It's like a mall where you just kind of like hang out in a mall, but in like city form.
Yeah.
You're gonna find a place to eat. You're gonna find a place to hang out and things to do and things to talk about the entire time, and that's exactly what we did. We just like settled into podcast mode. We're just like, okay, let's record the audio version. We're not gonna have video. I'm like, well, that's like, this phone has a camera on the back of it. Like, let's do the video thing too. So, like, I think that we could have planned everything out, but it was way better. It's just like, let's meet at Penn Station and then just see what happens. Who knows? All we know, all we know is Nintendo World.
For a while there, I thought we're going to be in Penn Station for a very long time.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because you did. Like, I don't really know Penn Station. Like, I go there, but like I was telling Toby, like that's not a place I hang out at. I don't like it's kind of, there's some dodgy people, man, and I was like, it creeps me out sometimes, and I'm like, I need to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like I normally get off the train and get outside and get into the public, like go where I gotta go. And I'm standing there like there was some shady people walking around, and I'm like, I put all my wallet, my phone in my front pockets and stuff, and I'm like, this is just weird. And then, like, I didn't know where you were, and I started thinking, I'm like, this is a pretty big place. Like, are we going to be able to meet each other? Are we going to be able to find each other? And then eventually, you came up with some
I didn't.
creepy text, and I'm like, oh.
I can see you, Bobby.
Yeah. Although you didn't say that, but whatever.
Because I wanted to see, like, look at your phone and then go, like, dart your eyes around Penn Station, like, where is he?
Yeah.
But
and then,
it didn't have the reaction that I was hoping for.
I looked up, and there's this tall guy in front of me, and I'm like,
it really is my shoes. I should have taken off my shoes.
Whatever, dude. I told Tony, I said, he's telling me it's his shoes. The guy's got to be a couple inches taller than me. At least, dude, I was looking up at you. And
I was listening to the Geekcast. You are not... I'm sorry. Unless your feet and inches are different than the feet and inches that we measure, you are not 5'9", my friend.
Yeah, I am, man.
You are not.
I'm 5'9", man. I'm telling you, I'm 5'9".
Okay.
Okay, I'm telling you.
I want to see your driver's license.
My driver's license, I don't have it in front of me. It's
don't put it on the internet.
It's upstairs. It's fine. I wouldn't listen. I could block it out. I edit.
Like, you're like 5'6" tops.
I'm 5'9". Stop. Anyway, so yeah, man. I don't know. There are some things that disappoint me with Nintendo Store. And we
the thing about it is it's not crazy. Like, it's not a giant store. There's really not a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's kind of amazing that they don't try to do more with it, considering how expensive it's got to be for them to be there.
Well, and the thing that amazes me is I remember when I went a couple years ago, right, for the first time, and they had a massive section for video games. There's really not a lot of video games there anymore. And that's because I think it's kind of telling of the times that they're in a position where they don't have much coming out, and they're not doing much.
Yeah, the most prominent thing there was really the Nintendo Selects, which are old games.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was happy with, like, they had a pretty huge section on just exclusive good, like, materials and T-shirts and stuff like that. Like, they used to have this little couch section where you could hang out and play 3DS all day. And you were saying, like, that's probably why they got rid of it, because people are just sitting in there hiding out from the cold or whatnot, hanging out in the Nintendo World Store at $2,200 a square foot.
Yeah.
Now they have a whole bunch of shirts and stuff that you can only get there. And that's every time I go to New York and I want to go shopping, it has to be something I can only get there for me to buy it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't even look at it, which is actually simplifies life for me.
Yeah.
Because what did I do as soon as I walked in? Oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, do you want a bag? And I'm like, yeah, I think I do want a bag. I think I better get a little shopping cart.
You're like,
you guys
I'm like, no, I'm good. I only got a couple things.
Ultimately, I ended up only getting a couple things as well. But I was like, if they had a 20-minute time limit,
you filled the cart up, and then you started putting stuff back. So, but
started doing the math in my head.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
and then multiplying that times 0.4.
Yeah,
1.4.
That's
the exchange rate.
Yeah, that sucks for you guys. The one thing I do like is they got a lot of Splatoon stuff there. So being a fan of Splatoon, like I jumped all over that stuff. The one thing though that kind of blows my mind is I thought they would have a lot more faceplates. Like,
again, an exclusive.
Yeah, it's like nothing is really speaks to you there.
The faceplates business is a tough one. I actually am surprised to see as much variety as I've seen in retail stores, period. As much as I would think, yes, they should definitely have some sort of like Nintendo World New York store exclusive faceplate there. That would be great. But the fact that you go to Best Buy or wherever and you actually see 3 to 4 to 5 different faceplates, I think is amazing considering kind of what happened with the 360. Do you remember when 360 came out? You could buy a faceplate for it.
Yes.
And they got rid of that very quickly because nobody gave a damn about the faceplates.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's just different because it's a handheld, and now even just the way that we think about our portable electronics is a little different. Like we personalize our phones by getting a case and with like a little skin on the back, or just making that a little bit different. So maybe that's kind of what's carrying the faceplates on the new 3DS. But I actually, when I saw them at first, I'm like, cool for me, and I love it. But that doesn't always mean that it's gonna translate to the rest of the market and that people are going to be buying these things up like crazy. So I'm glad that that's still a thing. And I definitely plan, like, I'm not done just with this. Is not going to be my first faceplate. This is the Super Mario Maker one that came with my 3D Land bundle. This, like, it's an easy stocking stuffer for me. Hint, hint. Anybody else? No, I'm just kidding. Don't send me anything. Hint, hint to Chelsea and my mother-in-law who are not listening to this.
I think what I don't know, like, because whenever I go faceplate shopping, I would go to PlayAsia, and I wind up importing from Japan because Japan has a wide variety of faceplates, and it's like Nintendo of America just drags their feet on everything, and like I don't get it, I don't understand. Like they just there's no good place for us to buy them. Even when you go to Nintendo of America's website, it's like there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of variety. A lot of stuff's out of stock. So it's just like so frustrating sometimes. Like, dude, why would you not bring the wood plates to?
Oh, I know, they're so nice. Like, Jules was showing me those, and we now live in a world where Xbox is allowing you to customize your controller, like the entire controller. It allows you to pick. I mean, it's just color swaps and things like that. But the fact that the faceplates, and this is kind of my point about them being so prevalent in retail, I'm surprised that it's not just an online-only type of purchase where the only way to get this is like almost by order. And it seems to me that the world is moving in that direction where it's by direct to order. It just makes things a little easier. You don't have to like stock up on inventory that nobody's going to care about. So I would like to see them do some sort of customization piece for that, because then really that is like, this is my 3DS. You could have a little Nintendo Guru thing on there. You could have, actually you could just take a screenshot of right now, and I'll just give like a thumbs up.
It would be nice if you could do that. It would be nice if they just sold blank faceplates, and then I see the way that customizers customize Amiibo. Like, it'd be cool to be like, hey, Gone to Chris, or can you do this for me? Can you here's the faceplates, can you, or here you go, get a blank one, send it off to like Image and Form or to Jules and be like, hey, can you get everybody in the studio to autograph this for me? Like have a nice Image and Form logo put on it with all their autographs. So like, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? Like something like that would be awesome.
And something that would like allow you to, this makes me think this is special for Super Mario Maker. And I would love to, it's like if they were to give that power to anybody who makes a game for the 3DS to say like, here's, you can buy our game and our faceplate, bundle it up or something like that. You can have like a SteamWorld Heist faceplate that you bought kind of like as a bundle with the game. That I think that bundles, people love bundles anyways. Anytime that you're able to add value, you're getting more money out of the customer anyways. It's kind of sort of basic marketing anyway. But I think that would be, there's so much opportunity here that obviously will be squandered, because I think that we're seeing the end of days for the 3DS with the Switch around the corner, as much as I think a lot of people are in denial about it. And as much as I think that it's the safe move, this is the right move to say Nintendo is continuing on with the 3DS in case the Switch fails. I think that's obviously smart. But we're probably done with seeing the innovation on really anything with the 3DS.
A couple of if we ran Nintendo things, because this is going to be obviously this is a different episode than we've ever done before. So hopefully people will enjoy this. But it's not going to be your blown out topics or anything like that. We're kind of just chilling this week, and kind of coming off of the New York trip and all that, and just kind of like hanging out here a little bit. But two things I wanted to kind of touch on though that are kind of if we ran Nintendo topics are I talked about this on the Geekcast, but I feel like it's time now that definitely if I ran Nintendo I would do this. Zelda needs to go away. They need to stop.
Do you want to talk about the reveal? Not the reveal, the little gameplay that they did at the Game Awards?
We can do both. So let's talk about the trailer first. My feeling of the trailer was it was definitely needed to be seen. The trailer. And the
trailer was spectacular.
Yeah, the reason why, and I like I said, I talked about this on the Geekcast a little bit, but the reason why I feel like the trailer should have been shown was plain and simple. Leading into this, I felt like you were a desolate man, just out in the wild, kind of like Fallout, where not so much Fallout, because Fallout there are people there, but like you're basically on your own. And I felt like it's just you and the old man, and he'll pop up in different places and kind of guide you on your way. But it's basically like the original Zelda game where you're just by yourself. And you're out there, and there's like one or two people out there that'll help you through your journey. This trailer made me realize that I was so wrong, that there's stuff all over the place. There's villages, there's NPCs all over, like little quest givers and things like that. Like, this is a true to life open world game where you're out, you're doing stuff. I don't feel like the world is super alive still. I don't get that feeling, but I feel like it's very much so alive for a Nintendo game, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah, this is, and to your point before where they need to go away, this is almost something that as much as it was exciting, it was one of the greatest reveals where the snap of the fingers and the world appears behind El Numa. You almost wish that they had been able to take this whole time to discover what they had, because I don't think happened until quite late in the game.
Yeah.
That they discovered what potential they've got, and now it's too late. People are expecting this game, and the delays are already kind of disappointing people. And at some point, they've just got to put the game out and then move on to the next thing. So that's sort of crappy for them.
I think the only thing they need to do is here's the release date. Here's when you'll get it. Done. Stop.
I guess
Stop showing stuff.
It does seem like they need more time, and I kind of just wish that they were able to take it, but I don't think that they have the luxury of time, just as a company in general. I noticed, so the trailer came in the pre-show. The gameplay came later in the show, and I actually think that I'm sure it's been said before, but they probably could have swapped it. I don't think that Zelda, the 3D Zeldas, I don't really think that they're about the moment-to-moment gameplay. Which makes it kind of hard to show off. Like, look at this thing that Link did. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about the journey and the story and the feeling that you get. And I think that that's conjured up better by the trailer, and actually more accurately to what you actually feel when you're playing the game. I don't get chills when I watch trailers, Bobby. I don't usually I'm just kind of like, let's get to the end. But the way that they're promoting this game, I think, is really it's striking something within me that I was just in the airport waiting for my next flight, and that trailer came up, and I'm like, my God, I am totally hyped for this game. Yeah. The music is gorgeous, and there's so much potential here. And then they get into the gameplay, and I'm just like, I'm pretty bored watching this. And I'm also concerned with Bill Trennan. I think he needs to do some sit-ups. I think he's gaining a little bit of weight.
Stop.
I love Bill, but I think he needs to.
I think
the donuts are taking their toll.
Stop it. We're not going to go there.
I love Bill.
I think that we're looking at it, and I just think that it's the people that they're putting in. Like, I love Bill, but I just feel like the other guy he was very dry, and it didn't make it fun to me. Like, I would rather see them bring in like real Let's Players.
Well, that's what they did for Sea of Thieves at the Xbox conference at E3. They actually had a whole bunch of real YouTubers, and some people hated it, but I thought that was a smart move.
Yeah, man.
Because they were just letting them dive in and experience it, and then be themselves. Like, they picked them because they're excitable, and because they're, love them or hate them, they're interesting. Like, they've got some sort of charisma to them. This guy was just like, it seemed scripted whether it was or not, and if it feels scripted, then that's bad, period. I don't care if it is, but it's like, react to this section. And it's like, it was so forced. And I want to be excited for this game, and that didn't do it for me.
When I looked at what they were giving us, though, I did get excited, and I did like it. You know,
did you?
Yeah, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm looking at him, and he's going like, okay, we need to go up into this area. And he starts going up into the area, and these enemies just fall out of the sky. And he's surrounded suddenly. And he's like, okay. So it tells you, like, you're just not looking what you're visually seeing. You need to look up in the sky, look around, like, get your surroundings and your bearings from you before you go on. So he goes in. And then the other thing that I really took away is the AI is brilliant in this game, where he throws the bomb and the boss actually moves around the bomb. How many games where the boss would just walk right through the bomb? And you just blow him up.
I guess.
No, there's no guess. There's a truth. Like you. Can
I know.
I think that those, when you look at those things of what the game is going to do and what it's going to bring to us, the feeling that I got from this game was you're never safe. In typical Zelda games, you go in, you know what you're doing, you gear up, and you know that like nobody can beat me. It's the same mechanic. Like I played Link Between Worlds. I mowed through that game. Why? Because it was the same game that I played 20 years prior. I knew when I got to certain things, there was nothing going to stop me. I never feared. I never worried about walking into a room, any of that. I like playing the original Zelda last Wednesday night. At times gave me that little vibe of like when I was a kid and I'd go into areas and it was like, oh man, I'm afraid to, like I cleared out this room. I'm afraid to go to the next room.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this Zelda game gives you that fear factor back where you're afraid to go around that corner because you don't know what's around that corner. And when you go around that corner, you could walk into something that you've never came against and you could die and you have to start over. And that's
fair. That sort of like thing, that observation is lost on me, I think, just when I watch other people play. Like that doesn't translate to me like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that to happen. It was just like, well, I just watched it happen to somebody else. So that's why like the gameplay to me doesn't really work. And I like, kudos to you for like spotting that out, because I was just watching a dude kind of like wander. And now they're saying that I just go to the snake head over there and do that thing. I'm like, I'm not in the whole, like there's a path before that to understand the significance of the snake. And that's the hook for me. It's not like figuring out the dungeons and figuring out the little puzzles. It's the journey up until that point. And then the sense of satisfaction when you actually solve that puzzle and then move on to the next thing. That's the hook. And that is completely lost on me in Let's Plays. And that might just be me because I didn't grow up with those things in life.
But here's the thing. A Let's Play at an award show is not the place for it.
I agree.
You're there to be hyped and to be shown stuff that you haven't seen before. I get that's all you have is Zelda. I get it. But at the end of the day, like, stop. You should have showed one trailer and that's it.
Trailer was great.
The trailer was great and they should have left it at that. The Let's Play was just out of place. It killed the flow of the award show, I felt. It's no different to me than throwing in the musical guests. Like, pull that stuff out. You're sitting there and Jeff Keighley is sitting there talking about like, oh, we gave this award out earlier today. We gave this award. No, show me. Let me give those people a moment to thank you for the award and all that. I would rather see that than I would to see out of place gameplay footage of a game that I just saw the trailer an hour ago, and the trailer had me hyped, and now I'm falling flat with this. So that's where my feeling is.
The hard thing about, and I don't know if anybody gives Jeff Keighley enough credit for this, but the fact that the Game Awards streams on the internet makes it a different award show period.
Yeah.
That means that there are no commercial breaks. Like there are, but not like in the way that we're used to. It's not like we're going to step away from the show and then see some totally different messaging from sponsors who are helping to pay for this. It's sort of all baked in. Yeah. And so the show ends up just being whatever it was, a 2-hour run, instead of having breaks built into it by either with the commercials. So he has a challenge there to kind of have almost like a rise and fall of tension within like what's going to happen next. And the way that he's been breaking it up is with the Chick Hydro dude. Like that's how he pays for the show. And then he breaks it up with some musical pieces. And he knows why he's doing that. He knows that he needs to break up the show a little bit. But I don't think that is coming across. I don't think people are like identifying that as this is why these things are here. Like, why don't you just give me a 2-hour shot of Game Awards? Yeah. And it's this kind of awkward transition from a television show to an internet stream. So it's a little weird. I think, definitely we could have a little bit more of the developers. You know, remember E3 a few years ago, EA, that's all they did was like developer stories, kind of pulling back the curtain on what the things that they're working on. I think that would be kind of cool. So we could have kind of a retrospective of the year that we had and maybe a peek into the future of what's in store, what some of the most exciting people are up to. But even that, like they did that a little bit. They had some announcements of new games that were coming up, but I also felt like those fell flat. And it really is about the developer and the PR team to say like, who is the right person to go hype up this game? Yeah. Because I actually couldn't even tell you. There was a guy from Poland. I can't remember what game he was promoting. They just sort of like mentioned it. I was kind of pumped for Cliff Bleszinski's game. That guy can talk a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing. And I know Toby wasn't too pumped on that game, but I think it looks incredible. And I'm not even a PC gamer.
Yeah.
But Lawbreakers looks like it has just enough something to have me kind of intrigued.
I didn't
but yeah,
feel like
something
anything. I didn't feel like I walked away from anything like hyped that much. And I think part of Keeley's problem is he butts up directly against PSX. So he's not going to get a lot of things because PlayStation's going to hold things close to because that's the vibe I get of this show. This show to me just feels like an Xbox Nintendo show to some degree. I don't. Maybe it was just this year. I don't know. Like I
except
just
for the first 50 minutes with Kojima, who's PlayStation.
But that even felt out of place to me. Like that whole moment just felt weird to me.
Well, again, like we're used to seeing totally bipartisan award shows.
Yeah.
But Keeley is the guy who creates everything, and then he gets up front and he hosts the whole show.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm actually curious of when he might bring in somebody else to do the hosting.
Yeah.
And then that kind of takes, I think it separates some of the personal agenda. Maybe not. I mean, maybe it still comes through somebody else.
Like, he should probably come out and present one award. And that's
I think him coming out and launching the show is very appropriate. It's like, this is my thing, and he has worked his tail off to get that show to where people go, I want to win that award.
Yeah.
Like and he mentioned it where he walks into developers' places and they've got that award at the center of their trophy case and everything else is secondary. And that, you don't just do that. No. You and I couldn't just like, we're going to give away awards and people are going to care about it.
Yeah.
He's definitely, I think he deserves a lot of credit, and people are sort of foregoing that part of everything.
Yeah.
I thought I had something else to say about the overall award show. But I love Doom. I know you didn't care for Doom.
Yeah.
The music, I think, is just so... I downloaded the soundtrack, and it just carried me through work the next day. I had to go back to work on Friday, Bobby, after a long flight home.
Yeah.
Had some Doom music going on.
The other thing that I kind of wanted to get into a little bit here for If We Ran Nintendo is PSX. And the reason why I wanted to say that was I feel like this is something Nintendo has to do. And if we ran Nintendo, I definitely would do this.
We talked about that with Mark Carabin when we talked about fan service, right? Like, what would we do to make the fans feel appreciated?
And I feel like when you watch, like, I watched that stream. I had that stream running all day yesterday.
Yeah, man.
And when I was editing, it was on the TV. And I would watch that, and then I would jump over and watch the Kind of Funny guys when they were talking about, like, their breakdowns of the press conference. And I feel like that's what Nintendo needs. Like, I would be absolutely okay if Nintendo eliminated all of their Nintendo Directs for the year and did it one day, like a 2-day, 3-day big event like this. I would be okay if they saved all their news for this. So basically put it on two ends of the spectrum. You do some stuff at E3, and then you do some stuff at your Nintendo event, and that I would be good with that. If they had two bookends where that's where they kept their news to come out. I know eliminating Nintendo Directs is a very unpopular decision. I get that. But let's be honest. They've kind of fallen to the wayside since Iwata passed away. Like, they do them, but it's not like they do them when Iwata was in charge. So, if that's the case, if you're backing away and you're pulling away as it is, then do something else. And I feel like a big event like this would be amazing. Seriously.
Does it have to be an if this and not that sort of thing? Like, does it have to be?
No, but I feel like
that's how. I guess what you're saying is that's how.
If you're putting out news every couple of months, what's the point of doing this big thing?
But here's the thing: like, I actually like the idea of adding this to the repertoire of you have E3, you kind of have like a bookend on the halves of the years, whereas June is your E3, and then December sometime you have something like this, and then sprinkled throughout the year you've got these little directs that are exactly what they are. And I think what ends up happening with directs now is people are expecting them to be like these monumental things. They expect them to be like an E3
That's what
type
they were.
reveal.
Because that's what they used to be. They used to be a 45-minute thing where they would show you a bunch of games. And now it's like a 6-minute thing where they show one game. And
well, that was just one time, the Animal Crossing thing.
They've done it numerous times in the past. Since
on
Iwata
Smash.
since Iwata has passed, they've done this many times.
And
Where-
you don't think that's good? Like the whole, like the
No.
dedicated direct to
Not
Animal
when it-
Crossing is
no.
not good?
I mean, I don't know. I feel
I would have done it differently, but I like that they have like these dedicated
I liked. Okay, look,
coming out of
listen,
nowhere.
I like that they have the dedicated ones. I'm not knocking that. What I'm saying is they don't give us the news. Like, I liked the big 45-minute directs where you sat there and you watched game after game after game after. And maybe that's because they don't have a lot right now, and that could potentially be what it is. Is they just they're lacking. And it is what it is. They did the 3DS one, and I thought, okay, this is good. I like the 3DS one that they did. I just feel like there's a disconnect of some sorts. And if they're not going to do the big 45-minute ones where it's a bunch of games coming at us, I would rather they just capsulate and hold all that information and go, here you go. Now, if they use the directs to do updates on the games, like let's say that they announce all these games at this Nintendo event, and then from that Nintendo event to E3, you get a few Nintendo Directs in between to like the Animal Crossing one where they say, "Oh, we showed you Animal Crossing at this event. Here's what we can actually do with it now." I would be good with that. That part I would be fine with.
I think the power of the direct is just the frequency of them, and there's value in that beyond what I think anybody can realize. Is that there's always going to be something from, and this is the thing they need. Which is why I don't think they should get rid of it and have these two tentpole kind of events with a fan event and then an E3, because then you have like this giant lull in between. You need to prop up the year with like these little pieces of communication, a little promotion, a little something to say. Remember, Nintendo is great, and there's lots to do on it. So I think people need to move, and I think they've done that maybe intentionally to move the expectation away from this is going to be a giant thing. So stop expecting these Nintendo Directs to be a press conference type of thing, but this is just a Nintendo is great, you own Nintendo, go play your Nintendo type of message. And you can have little surprises every once in a while, but I think that's kind of what you're getting at, is that you want just one more thing. And you can't do that throughout the year. Yeah. And maybe it's just a matter of changing the color, like the way that the Nintendo Directs are phrased, where it's not a what are they going to say at the very end? And even then, we've seen that, and they still haven't fulfilled their promise on the Smash, the final Smash amiibo.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, I just think that they're very valuable in that light.
So all right, so I look at PSX, right?
But I'm not saying they don't do that. I'm saying that they do all of it. They definitely need to do something like this.
I just feel like if you, okay, so I look at what you don't have enough announcements to do the bookends and then announce all year long as well. You need to, like, I think your big guns need to be there. And that's where I'm getting at, where you eliminate the directs. If you want to focus the directs to be more like, this is the content that comes within these announcements we just made at our Nintendo event or at E3, then that's fine.
I think you're wrong. I think
no, I don't see how you do it. Sean, here's my thing. How do you do it? How do you have enough content to produce to do that, to keep stuff going throughout the year?
Bobby, go over to the PlayStation blog.
No, I'm saying but PlayStation.
Look at they have content going up all the time. They have things to talk about that are happening on that system every day.
But what I'm saying is, but they're not making major announcements there.
No, and that's what I'm saying with Nintendo Direct should be. They shouldn't have to be this giant bombshell thing.
And that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying that you can't have these big bombshells coming in the middle of the year, because then it eliminates your two focus points, where that is what the whole point of those two events are. Like,
sure,
you look at, so Last of Us 2 gets announced yesterday. You don't,
that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't do that at a Nintendo Direct. Like, if you're doing your two tentpole areas, if you have your big event, your fan service event, and then you're having E3, you don't then go in the middle of in between and go, here you go. Because then it's kind of like, well, why am I going to this event? Just to go hang out and check out. Like, yeah, that's cool, but like, I want to be there to have something huge happen. So I feel like when they announced all that time ago, like, here's the thing. If they had this big 10-pole event, like, that's where you come out and you talk about Switch. That's where you, like, don't do it in a direct fashion. Do that in front of an audience, in front of a bunch of people, because that's the thing. Like, when you E3, I'm not that big about in terms of, like, I don't feel like they need to have a big stage presence at E3, because it's just reporters. and it is what it is. I feel like when you do something like PSX, like Tony was saying yesterday, she's like, oh my God, why are they cheering so much? I'm like, these are fans. These are legit, like, people getting hyped up over this stuff. That's where I feel like it's good to do a live event, because that's where you're getting your true reaction. Like, you listen, I watched the interview with Troy Baker and all those guys where they were talking about, they shot that footage for Last of Us 2 2.5 years ago. They did all that 2.5 years ago, and they had no idea how it would fall. They've been lying to people this entire 2.5 years. Every time they got asked about Last of Us 2, they had to play dumb, acting like they hoped. And then Troy said he sat there and he watched it with everybody live. And he said he got chills and he started to cry because it was so emotional to hear the reactions. He said the minute that you see the stop sign with the Firefly emblem and the place erupts, he said that's when the chills hit and the tears hit, because he said, we did it. We did it. And that's what I feel like you go for with this Nintendo event. And that's why I feel like giving little directs, if the direct is basically news flashes and news updates, by all means. But if you're going to do these two tentpole things, you don't do big reveals during them. And that's what I feel like Nintendo Directs in the past have been. The big reveals, the opportunity to announce games. You have to change the focus. And I feel like the focus needs to be, hey, we just talked about Last of Us 2 at this big PSX. Well, guess what? Now here's some more information. Here's an interview with Troy Baker. Here's, go that way. That's where I'm saying you change the focus of the directs. I don't know that Nintendo can do that.
Do you think they're still scared of the Wii U reveal? Do you think that that's like, because they did that in person, like, here it is, and they're like, what the hell is that? And it fell flat, and they've been burned by that so badly that sometimes it's better to just have a nice programmed piece of content that you can throw up out there, and you don't get that falling flat kind of audience reaction. Because, like, you're talking about all the positive. I agree with you that is definitely, like, when it's done well, it kills. Yeah. But we've seen a lot of companies, especially like Japanese companies, have a hard time kind of doing the Hollywood thing of doing this big show, which is really where Nintendo of America needs to kind of step up and say, like, this is how we do it in America. Yeah. So I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I feel like,
okay, so if we're going to go back to that initial reveal,
because
I don't know,
the
man.
Nintendo Directs were a substitute. We have to remember that.
Yeah,
right? They ended up being a substitute for the live show.
Yeah,
and that's why, because those were falling flat.
So I feel like, here's the way I feel. I feel like with that E3 announcement of the Wii U, when I watched it, I got excited for it. Because it translated to me that this is a new console, and this is what it's going to do. There had been rumors leading up, all across the board, that this is what they're going to go for. And then when they showed it, I was like, I got it. I understood when they did the sizzle reel and all that stuff. I never once in that time thought this is a peripheral. When that, because this was aired on G4. So when this is done and Adam Sessler goes in there and he talks to Reggie and acts like a buffoon and acts like a moron and acts clueless to what this thing is, and Reggie tells him it is a new console. This is not a peripheral.
Couldn't be more clear.
Adams continues on the way of like, well, I'm not sure. Is it? The president of Nintendo America just told you what it is, and you're still playing dumb. Sorry, that's the media playing dumb and being idiots.
And that's about audiences. That's a lesson about audiences.
And that's where what I was saying.
If you have you in the room, like this is about getting the fans excited first and keeping the media aside. Yes. So that's why you need that. You need those two events just for that purpose, because you need to have the fans being the ambassadors for your product. Yes. And that's exactly what Sony is achieving here at a time where they are the winning console. Yeah. This isn't even something that they're like trying to claw back. This is them just kind of puffing out their chests and putting their flag on top of the console war mountain and saying like, we won and you guys got us here and you keep us marching towards just crushing anybody who even wants to try and touch us.
Look at the size of that crowd that they had there.
And Nintendo could easily do that.
Oh, Nintendo could double that easily. Easily. And there's no doubt in my mind, because Nintendo fans are rabid, and I feel like Nintendo fans are more rabid than any consoles fans there are. And what I mean by that is,
why don't they have like a PokeCon?
Yeah, but well, they have the world championships, and that's kind of their thing. They do, but like what I'm saying is like
That's elitist though. That's not like Minecon or anything like,
no,
or
I know.
BlizzCon or something
Yeah,
like that.
but when you look at like, and the reason why I say Nintendo fans are more rabid is look at like when the NES Classic launched, when Amiibo launched, like people were in lines for hours trying to get these things, and maybe that's just because Sony doesn't handle it that way. But like you look at like we went to Nintendo New York this weekend. They had the NES Classic lines around the blocks, and they don't. I just feel like other fans don't, maybe because they just don't have to some degree. But I feel like they don't go all out like that. Like it's just they don't go crazy for everything that Sony does. They do for the consoles and stuff like that, but I just feel like it's just not as prevalent to some degree, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Well, and the reason that we haven't seen Nintendo, probably Xbox as well, do this yet, like it seems like, well, just throw an event, just whatever. Like how hard could it be? Hire a logistics company, have them put it on and organize the venue and put together some trailers. Like how hard could it be? The thing that Sony does that to me is they deserve a ton of credit for is PSX is central to their business. It is, they build their marketing announcements. They don't just say like, okay, guys, what do you got for us this year? And we'll highlight that because that would be a mess. That would be a disaster. They plan their all their reveals, the development of their games. What do they have in the pipe? What's coming up? They have that planned so that PSX is a good show.
Yeah.
It isn't a good show because they have like, do you understand? Like it's kind of, it's a nuance there. But they put the work in to make PSX good. PSX isn't good just because PlayStation is killing it right now.
Yeah.
It is central to their yearly calendar.
Yeah.
And I think that they deserve a lot of credit for that. And that is the reason that Nintendo and Xbox haven't followed suit yet, because they would actually have to change the operation of the business so that they have things in place, not just venues and logistical type of stuff, that they have the games at the right place at the right time so that when the fan event happens, it is insane.
And
PlayStation has their...
That's just maneuvering things, I feel like they're smart enough to figure
Oh,
out...
don't marginalize it, man. That's huge.
No, I think that...
what they've been able to do.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Sean. This is the third
They're going to
year.
start planning E3 in 2 months.
And this is 3 years now they've been doing it. So now they're at the point where they're getting it down, because I feel like this is the best one. I feel like this was the best PlayStation
since the
experience.
first one.
Yeah,
the first one was
last year. I felt
3-1-2.
Yeah, I felt the last one was horrible. I felt the last one wasn't that good, but this one was good.
Tight.
Yeah, and
60 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is they're starting to wake up to the fact of like, you don't go for 2 hours, like cut it back a little bit. So I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day that Nintendo needs to do something like this. I feel like it's important for them to do something like this. So
yeah,
we'll see how it all works out. That is all.
Aw.
Thank you guys for listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube, all that good stuff. Be sure to check us out on We the Nerdy. We go up at approximately 9 p.m. Wednesday evenings every week on We the Nerdy. That is the ultimate place to check us out. You can check us out. You can check out other great podcasts that are happening over there. You can check out all kinds of like great articles on comic books and television and movies and video games and everything. So go check out We the Nerdy. You can subscribe to us, please. iTunes, leave us a review. That would be awesome, so we can get our name out there a little bit further. Peace out, Cub Scout.
See me later. Ba-da-da-da. Da-da-da.